Hello, welcome to The Rightest Leftist with Nathan Ogilvie. I'm going to try and not swear during this one. This is the first in a series I'm planning to start called Headlines, where I'll take a headline from the week and analyze it. It doesn't necessarily have to be a political issue, but what I'm going to do is look at it through the lens of everything I've been discussing. And today I'm going to look at a scandal that's rocked the Victorian community, and I would say the Australian community as a country as well. It's related to childcare, and as a parent, I'm infuriated at what I've been reading and hearing about. So basically, this childcare worker, Joshua Dale Brown, has been arrested and going to be charged with at the time of this. So this article is the one that started off on the 1st of July. We're now getting towards mid-July and a lot more has come out. But just horrific sexual abuse against hundreds, and as we can see there, possibly thousands of children. And as a parent of a 2-year-old daughter, I am absolutely outraged at how the system got to this point, because this guy is clearly a monster. There was an example of a man in Queensland as well, which happened, I believe, a couple of years ago. That's not the purpose of my article today, but it's more than fair to say the system is entirely broken. And as a parent, I am furious. And if you're a parent or you have any kids in your life, or just a decent human being, you should be outraged as well. And how do we get to this point? Because yes, this was one monster that was allowed to get away for this for so long, but the system is so broken, it is just unbelievable. So I don't want to go too much into the article and give this person, can barely say it at this point, any attention. But what has happened is, it sounds like he was a casual worker and sort of slipped through the regulations. But my thing that I've been infuriated by childcare centres for so long is just how they are entirely for profit and do not care about children's safety. Now, a lot of these issues happened at a particular business called Affinity Education, and I think they should be put on blast for allowing this to happen. Because if you look here and they talk about their commitment to safety, well, how did this monster get away with this for so long? It's just absolutely outrageous. And what it's looked like has happened now is children are going to have to be tested for sexually transmitted diseases because of that he was possibly carrying one at the time of committing these offences. And what we need is immediate community action, because I don't have any trust that these childcare centres are going to do the right thing. They're now talking about that some of these big centres are going to put CCTV, so cameras in the centres. There's talk about not allowing male workers, but as we've seen with other aspects of the industry, there's been videos of female workers abusing children too. In some cases, just leaving them in high chairs and taunting them. I think even there was videos of them spitting on them and slapping them. And it's just, in many ways, the Wild West. Now, an example of my own daughter's childcare. For the sake of confidentiality and everything, I'm going to provide restraint and not call that childcare centre out. But I'm going to be putting in my own complaints as a parent to that childcare centre. And I think if you're a parent or you're a concerned person as well, we should be getting in touch with these childcare centres and our local politicians as well to figure out what's going to be done. Because what's happened here is now the government seems to have started to take action and they're investigating these alleged incidents. But I think a big part of the core of the problem is these private childcare centres do not care about safety. And look, even if they say that they do, they care about profit more. They are profit over people. Oftentimes they're owned by, a few people, or some of them are even on the share market. So it's just shareholders looking at their bank accounts and their value of their shares going up and not caring about the effect on the children, that children are not safe in these centres. Workers are paid peanuts. I don't blame the hard-working childcare workers. My wife works in childcare. They're overworked and underpaid. It's a physically and mentally demanding job. They're often carrying or supporting children emotionally throughout the day, every day. That's their job. It's an exhausting job. Management I'm not so keen on, especially the ones that run the centres, because often they're they are underpaid as well. So in terms of quality, you get what you pay for. And I've known through the 3 childcare centres my wife has worked at is management are almost entirely incompetent and often just float to the top because the good ones leave or leave for other industries, and you get this mess that's happening in front of us. So I think we need to financially punish these childcare centres. I'm pleased to see that there is going to be, it looks like they're going to be suing. I want to get to that, the latest article on it, I believe. This is where we're at today. This was just released 14 hours ago. So this is the latest article on it. Parents are considering suing the childcare centres. I think that needs to happen and happen immediately. Some class action lawsuits to financially punish these childcare centres for allowing this to happen. Because as a parent and in our community, if we're talking about community safety, and that's something we all care about, we want to know that our children are safe when we drop them off with the adults that are left there. There's been problems with the working with children checks, that people with criminal convictions or even investigations are left to keep their working with children checks. And it's just absolutely appalling that this has been allowed to go. And when I saw this one in Queensland, the one that happened a couple of years ago, even though you hope and have faith in humanity, I had in the back of my mind, this is only a matter of time before something comes out in Victoria. And it's depressing as hell, but we know that there's probably been more sickos like this in the system getting away with this. And I hope that some of this news articles has scared the daylights out of them, and they're going to back off or leave the industry. But I do not want to be leaving my 2-year-old daughter and feeding them to the wolves, basically, in the way that this system is run for now. So what can we do as individual citizens? Because these headline series I'm going to do are just short little 10-minute videos, kind of rants, I guess, at this stage, to just bring attention to really important issues in our society. But this one has a sense of immediacy that I can't understate. And so if you're not directly a parent, or you're feeling a bit lost, like what can I do? It's just an everyday Aussie who cares about this issue, but I don't know where to start. You need to contact your local politician. And what you can do is, if you go to the Parliament of Victoria website, or just put in state politician, because I think at this stage, especially as this has happened in Victoria, we need to get in touch with our state Victorian members. I would highly recommend that you contact them through their email. And I've put together a template email as well that I think I can quickly show. I may not have it exactly ready to go because I've in fury put this one together, but I'll put it in the description, the email that I'm going to send to my local politician, who is Ms. Emma Vulan, who I believe is Labor. She says they're an Australian Labor Party. So this happened under Labor's watch. Now, I'm not that intense of going, it's directly the politician's fault, but really we need something to be done about this immediately. It's long overdue. The system is in crisis. We need better pay for workers in the childcare industry, better training, and we need better security at the childcare centres, and we need the owners and the people profiting from these childcare centres who are getting, because you may not realise, but I'm a psychologist, and if I have the clients, if they don't turn up to their session, they cancel, I don't get paid through the Medicare system. I do not get paid if they don't show up. In childcare, we're paying $150 a day, sometimes more than that, depending on the childcare centre you go to, but about $150 a day. Now, you get a little bit of a subsidy for that as a family through the government, but the childcare centre still gets paid if your child doesn't show up. They are raking in billions and billions of dollars. I'm not even going to go into the numbers because it's so astronomically disgusting how much money these childcare centres make. And look, I might even do a follow-up video on this because I know a lot of politicians and their families. I think even Peter Dutton's wife is a childcare centre owner. So I don't even want to get in today about the connections between why these childcare centres are so profitable and rake in so much cash from the government. But we need to, for these centres that are going to let this happen, we're closing that money plug. We're going to have to go after them as parents and sue them, hold them accountable. And I'm going to be emailing my politician, Ms. Emma Vulan, immediately after this, and I will be following up on her response. And I hope I can do an episode of the podcast with her. But this is an issue that is huge. It's ongoing, and it needs to get more attention. We cannot let this go and let these childcare centres get away with it in the way that they have been. This mini-series is called Headlines. My name's Nathan Ogilvie. I'm the rightest leftist. I'm quite outraged, and I've tried to keep myself contained for this little episode, but please let me know your thoughts on it. And if you contacted your local politician, I'd love to hear if you got a response and what they said. Thank you for your time.